So, 17, Memphis. Got married. Thought I was in love. Married a girl 16 years old. Just turned 16. I think I was 17, 18. Might have been 18. I really don't know. Marriage didn't last long. I said, let's don't have kids. Get on the pill. She says, I'm on the pill. But she didn't. She lied to me. So we had a kid. I was messed up then too. I was messed up on heroin, shooting up dope, and drinking. So the night that she had the baby, Rainbow, that's such a beautiful name, and I named that name. She was in there in labor, and I was running through the hospital at 12 o'clock at night looking for syringes and looking for dope. Now, you know, that's what I call insanity. That is insanity. But that's what I did. At that time, we had a house way out in the country. I was building a pyramid of candles, you know, peace, love, Woodstock. I'm smoking pot. And we went to town, left the candle burning. It fell down. I guess it hit the curtains or whatever. The house burnt down. It was full of antique furniture. You know, none of the stuff was mine. Someone else's, which was my dad's. Matter of fact, he had a farmhouse, old farmhouse. Didn't he have an inside bathroom? The stove that we had to cook off of was a wooden stove. We had to cut wood, make a fire to be able to cook. Someone say, man, that would be hot in the summer. Well, it might have been, but it was winter and the house burnt down, so it didn't make it to summer. Marriage didn't last. She started cheating on me. I started cheating on her. Who knows who started cheating first? Anyway, we started cheating. Had a brother lived in Wichita, Kansas. Memphis wasn't working out. I mean, I was really messed up there. I was robbing people. I mean, I wasn't robbing stores at that time, but I was robbing people. You know, still kicking in doors, and I was stealing a lot. So, moved to Jonesboro, Arkansas. I was wanting to get away from my ex-wife at that time. She was a little crazy, but you know, I was a little crazy. She found out where I was at. She came in my house and destroyed my house with a sledgehammer, baseball bat, and just tore up everything I had. So I called the cops, and they, you know, they said they can't do nothing about it. We haven't been divorced that long. Domestic problems. So I had a brother living in Wichita, Kansas Air Force Base. My oldest brother. Went and stayed with him. I don't know what year it was. I do too. 1979. Maybe not, maybe not. But anyway, years make no difference. Went and stayed with him. I thought, man, this is a change. I'm getting away from my old playmates. I'm getting away from my old playgrounds. At this time, I'd even thought about God again. Thought God was mad at me. Everybody told me I'm going to hell anyway because I'm drinking and I'm doing drugs. It's no use in going to God. So I went to go live with him. Don't know how long. I think it was no more than 2 or 3, 4 months because I got a job. Met a girl downtown. We shacked up. We lived together. I did not treat her right. I was just an angry, angry man. I had no respect for nobody. I didn't have respect for myself. I didn't even love myself. And I'm pretty much sure that woman would have been a good girl. I mean, she was a good girl. I mean, she was good, but I was not good. So that didn't last. So I said I moved there to get away from everybody. You know, I thought my life was going to change. I'd get away from the bar scene. But, you know, it makes no difference where you go. If you still got that in you, you can go to the ends of the earth. If you're still going to drink, you're going to drink. If you're still going to do drugs, you're going to do drugs. And you're going to find out where to go to do these things. Right? Right. And that's what I did. There I started robbing people. Again, now I started robbing stores, 7-Elevens, whatever convenience store I could find to rob to get money, to be able to get my drugs. Because at this time I was so messed up, there's no way I could work. I was hooked on heroin. I was hooked on Valiums. I was hooked on whiskey. I was hooked on everything that I could get my hands on to put into my body. My ship was sinking. I was really high one night. Valiums and whiskey. The girl that I was with, she left me a week earlier, and this is how messed up I was. I'm just telling you this. I'm not glorifying none of this. She done left me for a whole week. And she came back to get the rest of her stuff. And what came out of my mouth was shocking. I said, hey, when are you going to cook my supper? Oh boy, she rolled me up one side and down the other. The next week after that, I went to my neighbor's house next door. I broke in their house. They went to Texas. I stole all their albums. You know, back then it was LPs. I don't know how many he had. Might have been 500. Put them in a big trash dumpster, and I was going, and I did. I took that trash dumpster and I stole all those records. And I thought, oh my God, I left my fingerprints all over that house. Come to find out, I had gloves on anyway. So I took my gas can, went back in the house and poured gasoline all inside the house and struck a match. I about burned up that night. I was so messed up I couldn't hardly find a way to get out of there, get out of that house. But I made it. Long story short, they found out, they convicted me. I went to court over that. I had to go to treatment. Now this would be my at this time, this would probably be about my 4th treatment. Altogether, I've been to 8 different treatment centers. The judge gave me probation to see what I would do. I went to 6-month treatment, and if I walked the line, I could get out of it. I could not walk the line. I ended up doing more crimes. What did I do this time? Oh, had a girlfriend. She was a prostitute. I was a heroin addict. She was a heroin addict. I had a motorcycle. I thought I was in the Hells Angels. I wouldn't know no Hells Angels. All I had was a Harley Davidson, 500cc Harley Davidson. No, 500cc Honda, excuse me. I had a Honda. So we was leaving the bar one night, going the one-way street the wrong way. Just so happened, had a head-on collision. I tried to miss this car, and this car tried to miss me. I was going around 55, and as far as I know, that car said they was going about 55. So that's about 110 mile an hour impact. I hit that car head on, right head on in the grill. Man. My girlfriend planted in the grill. She didn't die instantly. I hit the windshield of the other car and busted it, smashed it off of it, and I slid down the road a few hundred feet. I mean, I was messed up. I forgot. I think it was over 100-something stitches I had to have on my face that night. I went back in front of that car, and there she was. I put her in my arms, and she died right at the end of my arms. Strange thing about this, 2 weeks before this, she said, Dennis, we need to get off of this. We need to quit drinking. We need to quit doing heroin. We need to stop this. I said, okay. So I said, okay, we'll go see about that. It was wintertime again. Man, I don't know what's up with wintertime on a motorcycle, but we was going by this black church. I mean, I don't mean black church, the house was painted black. Anyway. So I told her, okay. She says, I want to be saved. She said, I want to give my life to Jesus. She said, I want my life to change. At that time, hey, I tried to explain to her about Jesus, but I tried that thing and it didn't work for me. It didn't work. She said, but I got to try it. I got to try it. So we went to that church. There were 26 steps. It was a church up on a hill. Had concrete, no brick steps. 26 up to the double swinging doors. Church was just fixing to get started. I said, okay, you want Jesus? Let's go get Jesus. I rode that motorcycle up them steps. We both of them all the way to the top and rode my bike inside that church and put the kickstand down and got off. I thought, all right, she gonna see now. I thought for sure that they was going to kick us out of that church. God. But they didn't. They did not kick us out. They came over and they showed us love. They showed us love. The women got around her. They started talking to her, and the men started talking to me, and this is not how I planned this to be. She got saved. Can you believe it? She got saved. I mean, I didn't plan it to be like this, and she wanted to serve God at this time. I didn't want to serve God at this time. I was hooked on heroin. I was hooked on whiskey. A week later, we was out in the park, sitting out there. It's a nice sunny day. Got a 6-pack of beer. I thought, let's just drink a 6-pack. Went and got a 6-pack of beer. Sitting around drinking that beer, and remember that song? Oh, it's back in the 60s. How was it? Where, oh, where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. She's gone to heaven, so I got to be good, so I can see my baby when I leave this world. I mean, the song went on. Do y'all remember that? Like, night in my daddy's car, I haven't driven very far. There in the road, straight ahead, the car was stalled, the engine was dead. Anyway, hey, Becky says I'm not a singer, so I'm not going to go all into this. But anyway, I sung her that song, and 2 weeks later, we had that motorcycle accident, and she died in my arms, and that song came back to me. The song that I sung to her, how it happened that night. And I'm here to tell you, I didn't care what happened to me after then. I wanted to die, and I couldn't die. I couldn't get enough whiskey in me. I couldn't get enough heroin in me to die. It took me to that 6-month treatment center. The judge said, "Hey, Mr. Coad, what time is it?" I looked up on the clock on the wall behind him. I said, "Sir, it's 5 minutes to 10. He said, "That's what you got. 5 to 10 years in prison." At that time, I didn't care. I did them 10 years. I did them 10 years for him, but I did an installment plan. I didn't do it all at one time. I'd go there for 4 years. He'd let me out. They would let me out. And you better not do this, or you do this, and we're going to come get you. I said, "Yeah, right." This was in Kansas. I said, "Well, I'm going to go back to Memphis." So I got and went back to Memphis. I said, "They ain't going to get me here." They came there to Memphis and got me, took me back to the penitentiary, and I did my 10 years. So at this time, when I got out, 1992, went into 1982, got out in 1992. By that time, I'd have been to 8 different drug and alcohol treatment centers, been to one nut house for a couple of months, and like I said, I did 10 years in Kansas State Penitentiary. I'm out. I'm free. I said, I'm not going to do drugs no more. I'm not going to be drinking no more. Bam! Went back out and did the same thing. Started drinking. Started doing drugs again. Not heroin this time. I was just kind of playing around. At this time, really, whiskey was my drug of choice. And you know, that was pretty bad. Oh man, that didn't work. I was in West Memphis, Arkansas. Boy, that's an awful place to be. I'm telling y'all right now. If y'all even know anything about West Memphis, Arkansas, that is not a good place to be. So, wow, they came back and got me. Put me back in the penitentiary just for a little bit longer, 6, 7 months. So then I got out. I stayed in Kansas City. 93, maybe, something like that. That's when I met my wife, Becky. That's when I met my wife, Becky. That was about 20 years ago. Hey, whoa, that time flies by. But, right now, y'all, I'm just sitting there telling you, I've been sober for 20 years now. I haven't done heroin, I haven't done drugs in 20 years. But at that time, this is the end of it. I think to tell y'all the end of it. How it all happened. I was out on the lake, Kirkville, Missouri, doing trim carpentry, and that day we didn't have no work. The wood isn't in, The material didn't come. We wanted something to do. Me and another guy, we said, hey, let's go rent one of them 12-foot fishing boats. Let's, it's a little boulder on it. Let's go out on the lake. It's October with nobody on the lake because it was cold and it was wet. And it was cloudy that day. So there was no one out there on the lake. He got him a filthy whiskey. I got me a filthy whiskey. So we went out there and we started drinking. And we started drinking. And we drank. And we drank. And we got crazy out on the lake. So I was going to stand up and I was going to pee. And when I stood up, bam, I fell over right into that cold, dark water. And I was scared of water. I never have liked deep water. Never have. As soon as I hit that water, I had my boots on. Had my coat. I had heavy clothes on. When I hit that water, Satan said, Dennis, your family don't love you. Your dad don't love you. No one loves you. You're a drug addict. You're an alcoholic. This would be the good time to start sinking and let the air out of your lungs. I said, man, that sounds pretty good. This is my chance right here. So I did that. I just did this number. I just let down. I just put my hands up, and I started letting the air out. Started letting the air out of my lungs. And I could just remember just sinking. But all of a sudden, everything was just so peaceful. So peaceful. To this day, I have never felt peace again like I felt when I was under the water, I think maybe 20 feet or more. All of a sudden I looked up and there was a big bright light, and it was cloudy that day. It was supposed to be a bright light. I thought it was the sun. I had no idea. To this day I still don't know what happened. The guy that was with me does not know what happened. But I'm sitting here telling y'all right now, I'm not here lying. I looked up in this bright light, and the next thing I knew, I was lifted out of that water and I was set into the boat. In the back of the boat. The guy that I was with, he was still at the front of the boat, panicking, going like this with the water hollering for me, and I was in a daze. I said, well, here I am right here. He looked, he said, how'd you get in this boat? I told him, I don't know.